Alright guys, I'm back with another project today. It's kind of a weird project. What I'm going to be doing is the background to the story. My mother had her leg amputated from the knee down, and she since then has gotten a prosthetic leg, and so she's going to need handicap or therapeutic rails to hold on to as she learns to walk with a new leg. They're going to come to her home 3 times a week to help her with it, so she's going to need these rails to where they can be brought in and taken out only when she needs them. And instead of my parents having to pay $2,000 for those rails, because anything is medical, as everybody knows, it's expensive, I'm going to attempt to build this out of wood for her. So just stay tuned and we'll get started. Okay, I'm going to start with, I had some scrap 3/4 inch plywood. I'm going to use these as the base. So I'm going to start with these, and I'm going to cut them down 20 inches square on my table saw. And like I said, this is going to be the base, and I'm going to use a 4x4 post, and I'm going to mount that to that. I'm going to try to do this project as cheap as possible, but also very safe to where it won't tip over when she puts all of her weight on it. Alright, these are the untreated 4x4 posts that I'm going to use, and measuring from her stand and how tall it needs to be up in the ground is 35 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these down at 42 inches to give me a little extra, so I have room to mount the brackets later on. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these down now. This is what we have so far. I got my 4 pieces of plywood for the floor base. They're cut 20 by 20. I have my 4 pieces of 4x4 cut, and they are 42 inches long. And this is the other things we're going to need. These are the handrail mounts where you mount the actual handrail, which I have those 2 sitting right there. So those will mount to the 4x4s. I've got my wood screws, 1.25 inches. These are my 3/4 inch screws, and these are actually decking brackets that we're going to mount, that I'll put here like that, and then it's going to mount to the plywood like this, because the little fancy decorative mounts, they was really expensive, and I think these was like $1.28 a piece. So it don't have to be fancy, it just has to be safe. So we're going to go ahead and start assembling everything. It always helps to have a little helper that loves to sweep up sawdust, but I don't think I'll argue with that. I'll let her do as much as she wants to. What I'm doing now is I'm going to find center of this board, and I'm using the old sheetrock square. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to each corner, come to that corner and this one, and then draw a line down the straight edge. That way, when you get this out the way, where the 2 points meet, there's my center. So now I need to put the post here so I can put the brackets. But when you put the post here, you cover up your lines and you can't exactly tell where center is. So what I'm going to do is a 4x4 post is actually 3.5 by 3.5. So I'm going to measure from the dead center mark, and half of 3.5 is 1.75 inches. So I'm gonna make a mark here, 1.75 inches from the center, from here. Then I'm gonna turn the tape measure around, line it up there, and I'm gonna go to 3.5 from that mark. And so that will be the width of my 4x4 post, and I'm just gonna draw a line on each side. That way, now, when I plant my post, I can see where I'm at by the lines and make sure I get it dead center. So now I'm going to repeat this step up here and down here and make sure I have everything perfectly square in center. Now I've got my box drawn out. So now when I need to place my post, I can line that post up right there, and I know that it is now dead center of the board. Like I said, I know these brackets ain't the most beautiful thing in the world, but they are what we need them. They're going to do what we need them to do. So I'm going to use the 3/4 inch screws to go through the bracket. That way it doesn't go all the way through the plywood. And then once I get all the bases done, I'm going to go back with 1 1/4 screws and put them in the poles up top. All right, this right here is what the bases look like. I've got both of those done, and I've got these on the workbench, and I'm getting ready to attach the handrail. Now I've got the handrail brackets mounted. So I got these set up on the workbench, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the handrails on. Alrighty, there's the finished product of the therapy walking braces or rails, whichever you want to call it. I went ahead and added a 2x4 to the top and to the bottom. That way when you go to move them, you got no play, and it would hold pretty good. So that's the braces.